Open your notes packet up after Algor Mortis. The top of your note says Other Notes, and those other notes are going to be the step-by-step process in order to determine time of death using Algor Mortis. So remember that Algor Mortis refers to liver temperature, and that will be taken by the medical examiner at the crime scene of the actual liver. And there's a step-by-step process to do this. You're going to need a calculator, and if you follow each step, you'll be fine in determining this. So the first thing we need to do is um, come up with all of our knowns. We know normal body temperature. If you remember it, hopefully, you should be telling yourself right now that it is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The other known is the temperature loss per hour in the first 12 hours after death. The body is going to lose 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. Now, if we were to figure out how many degrees lost total in the first 12 hours, all we have to do is take 1.4, multiply that by 12, and you should come up with 16.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So we know that a body that has been dead for 12 hours will be 16.8 degrees cooler than 98.6. The third known is that temperature loss after that first 12-hour period is going to be 0.7 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. And that'll come into play when we do some more complex problems. And I said that there are steps to do this process. It is a step-by-step system, and if you follow each step and write things out as you go and not take shortcuts, you should be fine and always get the correct answer. So get ready to write. Step 1. Determine how many total degrees have been lost. Write that down in your notes. Step 2. Determine if the body has been there for more or less than 12 hours. So the first step, all we needed to do was subtract the body temperature from 98.6. The second step, now we look at that total degrees lost, and we say, is that more than 16.8 degrees or less than 16.8 degrees? If it is less than 16.8 degrees, that's our magic number, we know the body has been dead less than 12 hours. If the temperature is greater than 16.8, we know that the body has been there for more than 12 hours, and it's going to determine what number we're going to use later. Step 3. Okay, so if the body has been dead for less than 12 hours, you're going to divide the total degrees lost by 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. But if that magic number was over 16.8, you're going to subtract 16.8 degrees Fahrenheit from that number and divide the difference by 0.7 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. If you need to pause this to write everything down, please do that. Step 4, now that you have that calculation done, you're going to, what you have in front of you is the number of hours plus a decimal. Okay, so in order to figure out how many minutes, you're going to take that decimal. So if it's 4.5, you're going to take 0.5, multiply it by 60, and that's going to tell you how many minutes. You should come up with 30 minutes because that's half an hour. If the body's been dead for more than 12 hours, this is where it's a little different. You're going to add 12 back to your total hours to account for the subtraction of the 16.8 degrees earlier. Because when you did that, you actually were accounting for the first 12 hours because we didn't have to calculate that. Last step is to count backwards from the clock time to determine the actual time of death. Now, this seems like a lot, and it's a little overwhelming if you're not looking at the numbers. So let's do a little practice and see how this works. All right, I have your steps right in front of us here. And our first question. You should write this down so that you have it to refer to. We're going to say a corpse was found and the liver temperature was 90 degrees Fahrenheit. How long ago did this person die? And what we're going to do is go by our step-by-step process. Move this so you can maybe see the steps. There we go. The first step is to determine how many degrees have been lost. So we know that normal body temperature is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what we start with because that's our average. The body itself that was found was 90 degrees. Just subtract that and you get 8.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what's left. So that is the total number of degrees lost. Now, we have to determine if they have been there for more or less than 12 hours. Well, our magic number is 16.8. 8.6 is less than 16.8. So they have been there less than 12 hours. And the number we're going to use is 1.4 degrees per hour in order to figure out how long that they have been dead. So 8.6 degrees Fahrenheit divided by 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. Do the math so that you're getting practice with it. And you come up with 6.14. We'll round to the nearest hundredth. Now, what we're going to do in order to figure out, because what we have here is 8.6, this is 8 hours, and then we have 6/10 of an hour. So to figure that out, we are actually going to take, let's go backwards. This 8.6 was the total degrees lost. This number that we just came up with is 6 hours, and this remainder, this 0.14, is what's left. It's a portion of an hour. So to figure that out, we're going to take 0.14 times 60, and you should come up with 8.4 minutes. We're going to round to the nearest whole minute. Our total time of death would be 6 hours and 8 minutes. Now, I can add to this question, and what I can say is, if I told you the medical examiner arrived and took this temperature at 10 a.m., what is the actual time of death? So you need to take this and go backwards from 10 a.m. You need to go backwards 6 hours and 8 minutes to determine time of death. So go ahead and do that. What you should have come up with is 3:52 a.m. If you go backwards from 10 a.m., go backwards 6 hours, and then that brings you to 4 a.m., and you have to go back 8 minutes, so you get 3:52 a.m. Let's look at an example that is a little bit more complicated. We have to go through all of the steps. So we found a body and the liver temperature was 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and we want to know how long ago did death occur. Look in this question, you can see that it's how long ago. I'm not actually asking for a clock time, but the steps are the same. The first thing we need to do is find total degrees lost. 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit is our normal body temperature, and this is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. We get 28.6 degrees Fahrenheit is the total degrees lost. And now when we ask that crucial question, is this number greater or less than our magic number of 16.8? And we get, yes, this number is greater than 16.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So they have been dead greater than 12 hours. So what we're going to do, we can account for that 12 hours already in our calculation. calculation by subtracting 16.8 degrees Fahrenheit. And we get 11.8 degrees Fahrenheit is what's left. That's a remainder. So now that we're using that second calculation, we take the 11.8 degrees Fahrenheit, which was lost. We're going to divide by 0.7 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. And that's going to give us 16.86 hours. Okay, make sure you carry over your units. We were not good at that in the first question. So we brought it out 2 places. Now, we're not done because we have to account for a couple of things. So we can take our decimal, 0.86 times 60, and that's going to give us 51.6 minutes. We'll round it up to 52. And this 16 hours, it's not just 16 hours. It's actually 16 hours plus the 12 that we accounted for here. So it's 16 hours and 52 minutes plus 12 hours that we took away before. So you should come up with a total of 28 hours and 52 minutes. Guess how long ago this person died. If you follow each step, going step by step, and you make sure you carry your units and you do each step, you'll be able to do this process without a problem. You can go ahead and work through some of the practice in the notes so that you can continue and practice with this some more.